So I wanted to tell you guys some more information. I will start with something with crafting. So I decided I will turn this into a gazing ball since the tea light, it's the battery operated one, flameless, fits nicely in it. I think it'll look pretty. So that's what I'll work on. I'm not sure if I'm going to just do all like clear glass gems or mix the different colors to kind of make it look kind of odd, just like kind of different. I'm not sure, but I'll kind of think about that. So let me just go over a few things. So I have a lot of videos going up. I put the 2017 stalking at the Roosevelt Tram. And once I put it up and I see it again, I think it was a horrible situation, but I didn't think it would get worse. And this is what I was talking about with gang stalking. It gets increasingly worse. It doesn't get better. I'm still trying to find a way to make it better, but it really does get worse. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. They never stop coming. And what I think was so strange about that is that as an American, I can't even imagine people feel the right to do this to other people and do it out in the open. But I think what the reason they were able to get away with it for so long is because a lot of victims, we didn't understand that this was going to escalate. I think we kind of felt like, oh, someone does something strange. That's a weird person. Oh, that was an odd thing that happened. But then once you put it all together, you realize that this is a pattern. I've been putting up news reports about people using the United States pretty much as a stealing vacation, burglary vacation. And I think that's part of this. I go back to saying why this is un American, but I just have to say it one more time. If we in the United States are seen as the place to go to commit crimes and then leave, there's the problem. If you're not getting caught when you commit a crime in the United States and more people keep coming, then after a while, it will be seen like we are the people who you just come rob, take advantage of, and that we're not able to stop it. I would never think to go to another country to commit a crime and then leave. The fact that that's even allowed to happen in the United States, I don't understand. The other part about that is that if people who are targeted become the people who are easily scammed because we're discredited, which is a bigger issue, then that becomes an easy way for the United States to be taken advantage of. So it all connects. If we can't establish a way to stop people from coming here to take advantage of us, doing it through the internet, doing it through scams, other types of scams, then we have a problem. The other big deal I want to talk about is when I'm doing these videos where I'm saying we have to be able, if for years we've been identifying people who've committed a crime based on race or something else that's obvious about them, it has to be across the board. It can't just be a Black person, a Latino person, an Asian person. It has to be across the board. What is the easiest way to identify someone? So I want them to break down the white race. When we have people who look Black but who may be Latino, we should identify them as a Latino, Afro Latino, or a Black Latino. With the white race, it should be the same because white people have different groups. If you are a foreign white person, you should not be put in the same white category as an American white person. And once we start to do that, we start to see that a lot of crimes are being committed by different races from different countries. And that includes if someone is Jewish or Israeli or anything that identifies that person as something you can pick out quickly and easily, we should do it because we're doing it to Black people all the time, Latino people all the time, Asian people all the time. It should be across the board. Don't discriminate based on one group. The other big deal about that is when they're talking about, because I still have them talking in my apartment, I would never get anything done. It's ongoing and it's stupid stuff. Like this at this point, it's just like stupid. Why are they talking? So once they were talking about the Oompa Loompa comment, and it's like in the New York Times and it's on major networks, it wasn't even a big deal back then. It goes back to what I'm saying, how I think this is part of a pattern of taking certain groups. It's okay to say it, but then it becomes a pattern of identifying certain groups in a hurtful way. But there are certain groups we would never do that to. And this is part of my whole open conversation. I believe we do have freedom of speech. People can say what they want. But I think if you're going to say something about someone's appearance, like you'll say Black people are hair or skin color, then why can't we say it about everyone? Why is it that, oh, you can say this about someone who is Italian American? That's an American. But you can't say it about someone who's a Jewish person who has an identifiably different appearance. If you identifiably look different from a Jewish American, why can't you say that? Why is that anti-Semitic? But it's not anti Italian if people say Oopa Loopa, which so it brings this conversation into a bigger issue. If somebody says, okay, I want to look this way, that's one thing. But we for years have done this to groups over and over and over again. But for some reason, we have a problem by identifying someone as that's a Jewish person who did this. And when I'm telling you that this is a Jewish pattern, for me, for some reason, I don't know why. Nobody has come up with an explanation for me. What they've been saying is that they thought I was going to be a different type of person. But again, then you couldn't have been doing this to me all my life. I mean, how many times can they say one thing and demonstrate a different thing before it gets to be a problem? They just knocked. The other big deal about this is that if I'm actually showing you images of people and they said that they've been doing face scans to kind of match back to the people, then you weren't the original ones doing it. The original people who were doing it used to even come into the boutique and just kind of have odd conversations with me to the point where I would say, that's a strange thing for you to say. That was before I understood what this was supposed to be. I didn't know. I just thought they were just coming into the store just to talk, you know. I didn't know that this was going to be how they spend the rest of their lives and my life. I mean, they're wasting as much of their lives on me as I'm the victim of this having my life wasted. I also didn't realize that if they said because I went to school at Cardinal Spellman, there's a connection to Cardinal Spellman. And what's the guy's name? I'll put a link in the description. There was a Jewish man who was involved with the Mafia, and they talked about how that broke the Mafia. So these are little things in New York that I had nothing to do with, and it wouldn't have involved me ever before 2016. They again can't understand that if I'm not on Twitter talking about politics until September, I think 2017, then there are things that they were doing prior to that had nothing to do with me on Twitter. It had nothing to do with Twitter. But again, there are things that happened in New York that people who have more experience with this, I would love for someone who has experience in the New York Mafia to actually talk about these issues in a way that people like me would understand. Because it seems like the New York Mafia competed with the Russian Jewish Mafia, something like that. And I don't know all the details, but please, if somebody out there knows these things, it's not only interesting, it's something that's unique to New York. I was never involved. Nobody in the Mafia. I even said this in my apartment when they were lying on the Italian Mafia. Nobody in the Italian Mafia messes with a black person like that. I don't understand. Like, why would they even lie about that? It's a big deal. Like, these are big New York deals. They would not have bothered me. And before 2016, I was in New York since 1973. No Italian Mafia was looking at me and looking for me. This started in 2016. So please, guys, if you have a comment and no information about how the New York Mafia worked and how this all happened, leave a comment. And if you are really doing like information and research on it, please link a video because I would love someone to explain to me. Thank you for watching.